Hi guys, how are you? Today we are going to make a Easter centerpiece. And so let me explain what I've done so far. I have this candlestick. It is, let's see, it is about 9 inches tall. And I believe I got this one off of Amazon, probably last year. And then what I've done is just taken a piece of foam. This came from the Dollar Tree, this foam block. And I just kind of cut it down a little bit to fit the top of our candlestick. And then I just took some super glue and some hot glue, and we've got that attached. So this is going to be what we're going to be making our centerpiece on. So this will be our base. And the next thing we're going to be using is I got this super cute little moss bunny from the Dollar Tree. It was $3. So he's going to be kind of our focal point. So I'm going to go ahead and take the tag off of this. And he comes with a little raffia bow. You can leave it on there if you would like. I'm going to actually take it off. We're going to add our own ribbon to this little guy. And then when I took that off, there was a little, this guy's made of foam, so there's a little hole there. But I'm not worried about that. We're going to cover it up. So I'm going to take a piece of our ribbon that we're going to use. And we're just going to cover this guy up. And I think I'm going to fold it in half. And let me go ahead and glue that just to hold it. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this together. So I just fold it in on itself. And I'm going to add some glue. Just hold that. Alright, let's see if that's enough. Let's see if it'll go around a little bit more. And I'm going to put my seam in the back. Do just a little bit more. Okay, that should be enough. So I'm going to put my seam in the back. I'm going to give him a little, go ahead and add some glue. Get another glue stick. Just going to wrap this around and glue it. Then I'll cut that extra off. Okay, now he has a little collar. And now let's add a little bow tie. So I'm going to take, let's see what size we want on this guy. That's probably plenty. And let me see if I want to fold it again and do the bow tie, or leave it. Leave it. Okay, so we're going to leave the full size. We're going to make a little bow tie. So I'm just going to take and find the center. So I'm just finding the center. And I'm going to glue this in right in the center. And I'm going to do the other side. Right in the center. Just like that. And then we're going to take and we're just going to pinch it together. Just like that to give us a little bow tie. So let me get a, see if I got floral wire up here. I don't know if I brought any up from the shop or not. If not, we'll use a, I don't see any. So let's use a pipe cleaner. I'm just going to wrap that around right there in the middle. Give us our little bow tie. And we'll add a little flower or a little piece of greenery or something to cover up that pipe cleaner. So don't have to worry about it showing. Alright, so now we have our little bow tie. And let's get, oh look at that, my thing came off. Alright, let me re-glue it. And let me hold it for a second. Let me hold that there for a second so it doesn't come off again. And let me see what side I want to put my bow tie on. I think it's going to go on this side. So I'm just going to add a dab of glue onto this ribbon, sort of cat corner. I'm going to hold it for a second. And this will be our little bunny guy with our little ribbon that's going to match our bow that we're going to put in our design. So I'm going to let that set for just a second. And before we attach the bunny, he's going to be the first thing we attach, except for I want to add one thing before we put the bunny in. So I'm going to add, let me find it, I'm going to add this guy. So I want it to kind of hang down the front, but it's kind of long. So I want my stem to be sort of in the middle. This actually came from Michael's, probably last year, because I don't think I've bought anything from them this season as far as florals go. So it probably came from last year. So I now want to hang this, have this kind of hanging down the front. We're going to have our bunny in there. So I'm kind of getting my placement. And we'll probably trim these a little bit just because they are long. So that's a good spot right there. So this is going to be the front, the part that's facing me. I'll turn it around in a second and show you guys. So let me go ahead and dip this in my glue pot. Push that down in there. And we have a little dangly. I'm going to go ahead and just give him a little haircut. You want to leave them long, you can. I just trimmed it up just a hair, not much. So this is what we have so far. Our little bunny is going to be sitting right in here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get him attached. So he's going to be sitting a little bit crooked, not straight, a little bit angled. And I'm going to take, he is foam, so I'm going to take and just poke a little bamboo skewer. Let me dip it in some glue first. And I don't need it this long, so let me cut it a little bit. Let me add some glue right around the bottom. Let me see, that may still be a little long. Let me cut it down just a tiny bit more. Okay. And I'm going to add some glue to our stick here. to go ahead and place it. I'm going to go ahead and raise him up now that I kind of have the placement. I'm going to add a bunch of glue under here. Hold this guy in. Now, I'm actually making this design probably for my living room. Although I may sell him, we'll see. I got a couple of these bunnies, so I may make another one. Okay, so I'm going to hold that there for a second, and I'm actually going to take a floral pin. Let's see where I put them. I'm going to take a floral pin, and I'm just going to, since he is foam, we're just going to I'm going to go ahead and dip that, and we're just going to poke him in there. This is, his bottom feet are going to get covered up, so I'm not worried about that pin showing. I'll add a couple of floral pins, just to give a little bit of extra security. Okay, let's do one in the back. Let's go ahead and do one more. We'll do one on either side of his little hiney. Okay. And I'm going to move this. I'm going to move this. I didn't like the way it was. I want it more to the side of him. So I think I'm going to tuck it down. Let me cut this a little bit. Give it a little bit of an angle. And I'm going to put it a little bit more to the side of his foot. So I've got it a little bit more to the side. It was in here, and I just pushed it a little bit more to the side of his foot, so it's going to kind of dangle right there. I think we're done with those. Okay, so now let's take and start adding some of our, let's start with this, some of our longer leaves, our longer stems. So this is, I think it's one of our eucalyptus bushes. And I'm just going to cut them into pieces. So it looks like we're going to get, what, maybe 6 pieces out of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. 5 pieces out of this. So I want these to kind of hang down. So let me just get my placement. Okay, like that there. Let me dip it in the glue. You can bend it down as much as you want or as little as you want. I'm going to cut this one a little shorter. I'm just putting that right in the back. We've got it right there. I'm going to go ahead and add another one right on the other side of his little tail. About the same location as the other one, just kind of straight across. So we've got it just like that. Got one here, one here. Here's this little tail. So I got one to the left, one to the right. We've got one kind of to the side. We're going to do another one to the side. I'm giving these a bend. Now these two went in the middle of the phone. The ones on the side are going on the top of the phone. Okay. And now we've got one more piece. Let's add it towards the front. Again, I'm giving this a good bend. Let me get my placement. Okay, that's good. So we have it right. This is hanging here. So I have this one hanging down on this side. So we've got our little long flowy pieces. I'm trying to decide before we get too far if I want to do my bow. I'm thinking so. We're just going to do a really simple bow. So I'm just going to take and pinch it. I don't want my loops too big. Sure my loops are the same size, and they are. Okay, let me get that other piece of that pipe cleaner. Use zip tie if you want. I usually use zip ties for my bows, but this is just a really simple bow, so cut that off. And let me get, I thought I was done with these, but I guess we're going to need one more. Get another floral pin. And I'm going to cut it down just a little bit. I don't need it this long. So I'm just going to snip that. So I just made our U-pin a little bit smaller. Okay. And now I'm going to take and just run this floral pin underneath that pipe cleaner. Just like that. And that way we have something to attach to our phone or our bunny. And I think we're going to attach it to his foot. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue to the end of these. And I'm going to add this right to his leg, right at the bottom of his foot. Okay. So, and I'll trim it up here in a second, but I wanted to show you I've got the bow tie to this side of him. So I put my bow to the opposite side. Okay. And now let me, kind of want long tails on this. So I'm just gonna dovetail it. There we go. Perfect. That's what we have so far. I love this ribbon, by the way. This is our black and white. It's actually more of a cream, but it's called our ticking stripe. And I use it for everyday design. It's got a little bit of a farmhouse feel to it. But it's just a good staple ribbon. So I always keep this one in stock. It's one of my favorites. I've used it for years. So, okay. So we got our bow in. Now we know we've got room for all of our greenery. So now let's go in with, I'm going to add this fern. And we're going to cut this up. We're going to get lots of little pieces off of this one. We may not use it all, but I'm going to go ahead and just cut them all up. Now this piece I may keep as one unit. I'm going to leave it big for now. We can always trim it down if we need to. But I'm going to leave this one more of a cluster, so it's got like 3 little stems on it, because I'm thinking I should have, hindsight, right? I should have scooted the bunny up a little further on the foam, so I'd have some room back here, and we could have done some right above him. If I do that now, I'm going to have to make sure it's long, whatever I put back there is long enough that I can curve that stem into the back of that foam, because I can't go straight down into it. So what I'm meaning is I'm going to have to twist that like that, so that way I can push it right in the back. So let's just go ahead and do that. That actually worked. It was long enough. I was afraid the stem was going to be too short, but it worked okay. So I'm going to go ahead and add some glue on it. And I'm going to put it right back in there. We can kind of fan that out. We can also use, just going to leave them out. You can use full pin. And kind of push that right to hold it a little bit closer. Since he is foam, these floral pins were perfect. I'm just using these to kind of push these closer. Let me look at it. Yeah, perfect. Okay, I'm going to add just a little bit of glue on there. Okay, so now we have a little bit that's kind of fanning. You can kind of maneuver these how you want them, but fanning towards the back of them. Now we'll take the other pieces and we'll put them around our design. So we're going to get lots of little pieces. And then we have that one kind of chunkier piece. Okay, so let's take some of these pieces now, and we kind of got it fanning. I'm going to do this one sort of. So I just brought it a little bit at a diagonal, but kind of more so it surrounds him. So let me dip that in the glue pot. So it's on the side of that foam. It's on the side. We're going to do another one on the other side. So I'm just going to go in to the side of the foam. So it's going in at a diagonal into that foam on the side. And that's giving it a little bit more coverage on the side of him. Okay? Now let's add some pieces to the front. So I'm going to go in between that eucalyptus. I went in between our eucalyptus and our little, is it wisteria? I can't think of what the name of this is, but whatever this is, this dangly thing, I went right in between. And so now we're going to go the same thing. We're going to go right in between on this side over here. So we'll get another piece, giving it a bend. And we're going to go right in between on this side. pieces in the back. So going down, still giving it a little bit of a bend. I'm going to go right in the middle of the back. Okay, so far, so we have this side. I went right here, this little tail, right in the middle, and now I'm going to do one on this side. I'm going to over here. If you don't have enough stem, you can take the leaves and just pluck off a couple of the leaves and make your stem a little longer. So that's what I did there. So I'm going to actually take two of these together. Okay, and I've got a couple pieces left, so let's maybe right around in the front. Add a couple pieces to the front. One more. Add it kind of right in the center of that foam, in the front. A little bit of glue. I don't want to pull that one out. That one, the stem was kind of flimsy because it was just a little piece, so I didn't want to pull it back out. Okay. This is what we have so far. Getting there. Okay, so now we're going to add let's add our berries, and then we'll add our big flowers. So we're going to add some of these berry eucalyptus picks, and I'm going to go ahead and tear it apart. I think I may keep this one together in one big little piece. And we're going to do the same thing again behind our bunny, but a little bit taller. So again, I'm going to, let me cut it down just a little bit, because I didn't position my bunny far enough up on the foam. I'm going to bend my stem. Let me wrap these around so that we can stick it right straight in the back, just like that. Dipped in my glue pot. Okay, and let me look at it before I use the floral pin and make sure it's where I want it. So right in there, I'm going to take and just use my floral pin and kind of position that. So now he's a little bit higher than our fern bush. And this is going to be the highest we're going to go. We're not going to go any higher than that. So now I have a couple of pieces that we're going to use to just kind of fill in. Let's take this other one, do the same thing. We're going to break it into two pieces. For this piece, I'm going to use just little pieces of it. And now we have a big piece. So let me see. I think I want the big piece together and going down. Okay, let me cut this. I'm just twisting these wires around just to make sure it doesn't come apart. And I am going to stick this right in between his legs. I have some hot glue that kind of puddled up right there, so it's making it harder to get in. You can always use your scissors. Let me see if I like this before I glue it in. I think I do. I am going to cut it a little bit shorter. So let me cut it down just a little bit more. And then I'm going to bend it. Dip it in our glue. And push it right down in the front. Give it a bend. I'm just going to kind of thin this stem down a little bit more. Okay, so this is what we have so far. So I just stuck that right in the middle and kind of had it flowing down. Now we're going to take these other little pieces and we're just going to kind of fill in. So I want one of these berry pieces to kind of go up on the side. So let me just put that. Have it go right there on the side. Perfect. Let's take the other berry piece. I want to go a little bit lower, so down some more. Yeah. So we've got berry piece coming up here, and a little bit lower, we have another one right on the side over there. Okay, let's take our little these little, I don't know what these little things are, but these little balls with these little pip berries. I'm just going to wrap this around, make sure it doesn't come apart. And cut this down a little bit. I think we're going to have this come down on the side. We're going to fill in between, start filling in between. So I put it right there on the side. We'll go around on this other side with the second piece. Wrap this around. We're going to go right on this side over here. Like that. Now let's take a couple of these pieces and kind of fill in around the back. I'm going to go up higher on the foam, so more closer to his hiney than at the bottom of the foam. You go on one on either side of that tail, up towards the top of the foam, giving it just a little bit of a bend. So we're on either side. It's up higher, so it's raised up from this other one that we did. It's up higher in the foam. We've got two more pieces. So let's go maybe, I think I'm going to put one piece kind of right by his foot here in the front. Kind of going up. So I've got one piece right here by his foot going up. Let's do the other one. Let me see where I want it. I think maybe coming out of this bow. Or do I want it behind? I think I want it behind. So I'm going to go behind this berry, right to the side of him. So a little higher. So we've got this one here. I put this one over here, but just a little bit higher. So, perfect. Okay, let's go in before we add any more of our filigree greenery. Let's add our floral. So I'm only going to be using just one bush of our cream roses. We've got 2 large heads and 2 buds. So I'm gonna leave them long as I cut them, just because I don't know yet what length I want them. You can always trim down. So that one, I'm trying to see if I want to leave the bud on it. I'll take it off. And the greenery on these are actually pretty good, so I'm gonna leave it for that piece because it's at the bottom. Alright, so let's see where, I know I want one to kind of go right in the center. So I know I can cut this off. And this one's going to go like right in there. Kind of fill in that gap. Right behind our bow. So I'm going to go ahead and just dip it. We've got one right there, okay? And I'll probably put a bud, maybe right, that'll help cover up our little pipe cleaner. I put it right there. So, I'm going to just stick it straight. Remember, he's foam, so I'm just going to stick it straight in his leg and push it down in there. There we go. And now we have that just kind of covers up our little pipe cleaner. Perfect. Okay, I know I want another one towards the opposite side in the back. So we have this one up front. We're going to go diagonal. We're going to put it back here. I don't need the stem that long. Cut it down. I'm going to save these little leaves in case we need them for filler. I think I brought enough filler that we're not going to need it, but okay. Perfect. So one right here. To the opposite side, we have one right here. And now we have, I lost my little microphone piece. Okay. Let's get our little bud. And I think I want it kind of coming up to the top. So let me trim it just a little bit. And it is going to stand at attention up here. Just like that, to the side of our, super cute. I love it. Okay. So now let's go in. I bought this fun little moss branch. I think I want to add a few pieces of it in here. We're not going to use the whole thing, so we'll definitely have some of this left for another project. Let me cut a couple pieces. And let's see where I want it. do one in the back. Yes, I like that. In the back, towards the bottom of the foam, on my right side of his tail. So I put one right there. We're going to do one maybe a little shorter on a little more to the side, still at the bottom of the foam, towards the bottom of the foam. So it kind of is going to stick out a little bit on the sides, a little bit in the back. So that's what we have so far. And I'm going to do one on the side over here. So let's go ahead and get another piece. And this one, I'm going to come more diagonal out towards the side. So let me go ahead and dip it in my glue. Okay. And let's do another one. Let's see, let's have this one kind of go down. So I'm just bending those stems whichever direction I want it to go. So this one I want to go kind of down on the side. So just like that. And bend these how you want them, but I kind of have them kind of down on the side. So I think that's it. We'll save this piece for another project. I brought in some white gypsum bush. See if I want to add a few pieces of it. Yeah, I think it looks good. So I'm just going to do this one right to this side. We'll do another one down on this side over here. I don't want it quite as long, so I'm going to cut it shorter. And I'm going to give this a bend. We're going to tuck it in right on the other side. So just like that, one on either side. Let's add some. I got this little piece. Let's go ahead and just add it to the side there. Let's add a couple pieces to the back. Now I do want this one to kind of go up, so there's a little piece of foam that I can get to right here. Okay. Let me just go ahead and cut. I know I'm going to use probably this whole bush, so let me just go ahead and cut these. Let's do one towards the back. I'm going to have it kind of come, and I'll show you like, so it's kind of coming at an angle, so it's not going straight up, it's kind of going out just a little bit. Okay. Let's get another one. We're going to do the same thing sort of have a diagonal right behind this rose head. A little bit more towards the top of the foam, right here. Okay. And let's get a couple pieces going down. So, I don't need it that long, so let me cut it shorter. Let's get a couple pieces going down. So I'm just giving that stem a bend, and we're going towards the middle of the foam. I'm going down right there. We're going to do one on this side. On that side, let's add some to the front. Again, I'm going down because I already have, I have a couple pieces coming up. Now I want a couple pieces that's going to come out and down. So we're going to go right up under this bow. I don't need it that long, so let me cut it. Perfect. Let's get another piece. I'm going to cut it down. I'm going to go right in the center of this bow. Right in the middle. I went right here in the center of the bow, just stuck a piece right in the center. Now we need to get a little bit more on this side. We're just kind of working our way around. Let's get one right up underneath this rose head. So I'm going to go towards more of the bottom of the foam. I added a piece right there. Let's get a little bit more on this side. We're just continuing to work our way around the bottom here with these pieces that we have left. Okay, I've got one more really good piece. Still going towards the bottom. There we go. Okay, so these little pieces I'm just going to chunk. Okay, so now we've kind of gone all the way around. Now the last part is really just putting in our filler just to finish covering up the foam, the pieces that we can see. So I brought two different bushes to use for filler. This is like a seeded eucalyptus. Oh, my bad. It's a boxwood. It's a moss green boxwood bush, but it's got little seeds, so it's kind of like a seeded boxwood. And my light just went out over here, so hopefully that didn't get too dark. Hopefully you guys can still see okay. But I did lose a light. So I'm just going to cut these into pieces. We're going to get 5 branches out of this boxwood. So about 5 little pieces. We're just going to start working on filling in so that we don't see the, so any place where we kind of see foam, we're going to put it in there. Okay, I like that spot. So I'm just working now just to cover up the pieces of foam that we still see. I've only got 5 of this one, so I'm going to kind of space them. Evenly apart. side, I should say, of this rose head. So right there, I'm just working my way around. I have 5 pieces, so we started over here. So let's do one kind of underneath this bow area. Okay, and one more. Let's do right here underneath this dangly bush, dangly flower, whatever it is. I don't know my flowers very well, guys, so there's certain ones I know, but I'm not a, what is that, like a botanist? Is that what they are? Okay. So now our last one is this sort of pusher bush. This is a maidenhair bush. We actually have this bush in dusty green or regular green. So we're going to use this. This is going to be good because they push and they get nice and bushy. This is really good to fill in those spots of foam that we still see. So I'm just going to cut these up. I'll leave them long. We can cut them shorter. Same thing here. I'm going to push it up. When you push it up, it makes it nice and tight, like a tight bush, so that it helps cover that foam up. Okay, so now I'm just going to start going around and looking to see where I still see foam, and we're going to put those in there. You can see it adds like a nice little coverage area right there. So I'm just looking for all the places I can still see the foam. Okay. Let's go right up under our rose head here. I'm going to go right up underneath here towards the bottom. So you can see we're starting to get that coverage right underneath our little flower. And I'm just working my way all the way around, covering up the foam that we still see. If we did a pretty good job, all the other greenery did a pretty good job at covering it up, but just adding the last little piece. If you didn't want to add this bush, which I think it really kind of needs it, but if you didn't want to add it, you could go in with some moss and cover up your spots. You were trying to keep it a little bit cheaper, but I just love the coverage that this greenery gives. You can see it's really filling in nicely. Okay, got a few pieces left. Kind of thin this branch a little bit. I want it to kind of come out a little bit more. There we go. Now let's go in behind this flower head. And I'm doing this one a little bit more up. And then we'll take our last piece and go a little bit more down with it. flip out our bow. Perfect. I love it. And this is what we have. So we have this beautiful, just very neutral green Easter Bunny centerpiece. I think I am going to put this one in my living room. So my dining room, and up here is more of the pastels, so the pinks and purples and all the pretty spring colors. I think my living room, I'm going to keep more of the, not rustic, but more of the neutrals, like the greens and creams. That's kind of my style in my living room. So I think this is going to be a really nice addition to my decor this Easter. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Go out and try it and let me know in the comments how it turned out. Post a picture. And don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you click the little bell for notifications. We try to do these every week. So until next time, bye guys.